is Gigajam?
Well, Gigajam is a structured pathway of courses for not just the drums, but guitar, bass and keyboards as well.
Right.
Which will enable students to attain grades as they develop through the lessons.
I like it.
Great.
I like it a lot. But let's not talk about Gigajam in its essence and how it works right now. Let's talk about these beasts in front of us.
Right.
What do I need to be a drummer? This stuff.
Yes, this stuff. You need some drums of some description, of varying cost. We've got here assembled so that we can compare and look at the similarities and differences between electronic kits, as we have here, tabletop electronic kits. But I think I'd like to start, if possible, with the acoustic drum kit.
I'll let you, Brian.
You're very kind. The standard acoustic drum kit, which I think will be familiar to most people. So what we've got that makes up the acoustic drum kit is the snare drum, which is probably at the centre of it all. Sounds a little bit like this when played in a military style. Quite often just given a good thump in rock and roll style. It makes a very distinct noise, and it has a very distinct role in
It's very rattly, isn't it?
It is. Because of these rattles, Natalie. These are called snares, which are across the bottom of the snare drum head, and they rattle in resonance with this bottom head when the top head is struck.
Right.
So they rattle there. Take the lever off. There are occasions when that's cool. You get more of a tom sound. So that's the snare drum, which we use a lot in contemporary drumming. And then we've got other drums that we hit with our hands, which I'd like to explore. Or with the sticks in this particular instance. You can use your hands. I'm going to start with the high tom.
Hi, Tom.
High tom. Nice sound. Then the mid tom. Then the low tom. Now, like so many things in the essential course, the names are logical.
Absolutely, yeah.
High, mid, low in terms of its pitch, and also in terms of the way it's laid out in the kit in front of you.
Got you.
Sometimes these are called rack toms or mounted toms. This is also often referred to as a floor tom because it sits on the floor on stands.
Simple.
Simple.
Obvious.
Correct. Sometimes it's also a hanging tom, so it behaves similar to this and it hangs off a cymbal stand.
I see.
Because they've got different names, throughout the course, I will try to refer consistently to them as high, mid and low.
Good, I'll be watching out for that.
Thank you for that. So we've covered the drums that we play with our sticks in our hands. Now I want to have a look at the bass drum. The bass drum lies flat on the floor and is played using our foot, using a pedal. Okay, and we play the bass drum by striking the pedal with our foot in a variety of different ways. If you're playing more softly, perhaps more traditionally, you would use a flat foot technique because your foot is flat on the floor.
Again, simple.
There you go. Voila. Generally for lower dynamics, used a lot in jazz playing, softer pop and rock tunes. If you want to get a bit more va-va-voom out of it,
heavy.
large, as we say in the Greene household, then you're going to use more of a leg stroke.
Yeah.
You start with your foot flat on the floor, and it remains so when you're not playing, so that you're nice and relaxed in your posture. But when you beef it,
you large it,
you use your leg.
you're stamping it down.
Absolutely.
All right.
It's a stamp motion.
Those are the drums.
Great.
Spinny gold disc things.
Cymbals.
Those things.
Correct. We have a number here. We have a crash cymbal, because it makes a crashy sort of sound. I have a second one here just for a dynamic change. Then we've also got a ride cymbal. It has a totally different job. You don't crash it, you ride it. Now you ride it playing a pattern.
Right.
Now, the ride cymbal is where you play patterns on a cymbal. Where we play most of our riding is here.
What's that?
What's that? These are called hi-hats.
Yes.
You have two cymbals, one on top of the other, which are operated by striking. Pretty ugly noise.
Yeah, I'm not liking that.
Okay. But it's also operated using a foot pedal. The top cymbal is attached to your foot through the centre of the hi-hat, and that enables it to draw the top cymbal down onto the bottom.
Okay.
So you've got a variety of effects there. Quite tight for pop music, a bit more open, which you adjust with the front of your foot, wide open, and combinations of open and close.
So much.
So much.
So much we can do.
Absolutely. Now, we've got the acoustic kit here, which is a standard setup. I want to introduce the electronic setup, which actually just mimics exactly what's going on here. So this is an acoustic drum kit.
Yes.
This is an electronic drum kit.
Right.
Okay, so it's sort of a full drum kit. So just go through all of the drums in the sort of trying to copy the ones that I've told you about. So what about the snare drum to start with?
Okay, the snare one, the main one.
Yeah. Okay. And then your toms.
High tom.
Yeah.
Mid tom.
Correct.
Low tom.
Spot on. Great. Then you got the bass drum on the floor.
There is nothing there.
Ah, there's a little pad there. Now the pedal is a bit upside down, but I particularly like this model. It works really well. It's the same principle, but it's just like hitting the middle of a bass drum, but obviously a lot more portable. So just give that a smash there.
Okay, foot flat on it. Flat foot.
Absolutely, up to you. Yeah, nice. So you can see how that works. Similar action, same technique, no changes. Then cymbal-wise, we've got the crash cymbal. That's brilliant. And we've got the ride cymbal here. Fab. And then you've got your hi-hat.
Where?
Well, your hi-hat is somewhat disguised on the electronic kit, causes a few problems, so that's why I wanted to talk about it specifically today, is that it looks like an ordinary pad, yet the sound, if you play it, yeah, there's your hi-hat. And again, you get the same kind of velocity control that you have on the standard.
Velocity control.
Absolutely. I read it in the manual. The velocity control by using your foot pedal, again, which is on the floor. So again, it's identical to a normal kit.
All right, so this is it without me sort of pushing it.
Great.
This is me semi-pushing it.
Yep.
And that's falls to the floor.
Yeah, nice, tight, close sound. So you've got all the variety that you would have on this kit. Now, similarly, not everybody's got room, or perhaps even the money for one of those.
Before you go on to that, I thought you were going to say cymbalally.
Symbolically.
Symbolically. I'm hitting these cymbals.
Yeah.
They're not metal, though, are they? I mean, this is...
No, they're rubber, plastic sort of thing.
We won't get too technical.
No, but the beauty of those pads is that if you plug some headphones in, you cause no disturbance in the house to your neighbours. So where you would have an acoustic kit, fabulous and ideal, most professional players will have an acoustic kit and an electronic kit. Not always possible in terms of budgets. So if you're going to have trouble with neighbours, or you haven't got enough room in your dining room or your bedroom, then you're going to be looking for something else, something a bit smaller, which might be the electronic kit.
Or even smaller.
Or even smaller is this fabulous device, which I personally think is wonderful for learning on, because it makes actually being able to play the drums possible and accessible for people who perhaps otherwise think, I can't have this, or it's all too expensive.
Well, you can carry this around with you, put it on your dining room table, on your desk.
Absolutely.
On your bed.
On your bed, anywhere. I mean, if you adapt it with a snare drum stand, it's incredibly portable. And as we'll talk about at another time, it works with our software. But the great thing with this is that it's a drum kit in a pad. You've got the pedals here on the floor.
Goodness, I didn't notice that, yes.
So you've got your bass drum. You can use the same actions. As I demonstrated earlier.
So stamping it down or just being quite regular and soft?
Stamping, or leg technique as I prefer to refer it to, but let's go easy on that.
You choose your way, I'll choose mine.
Absolutely. And then the hi-hat pedal. And we've got the same drums. Snare, high tom, mid, low tom, ride cymbal, and crash cymbal. Then we've got our hi-hat, which catches a few people out. It's in the middle here, but provides no technical problems for people, so they can get around the kit quite easily.
That sounds... If I closed my eyes, I don't know if I'd be able to tell the difference between that.
It's amazing, considering this is so portable and so small.
Yeah.
Circa £150. So that whole thing about making music tuition accessible, this really helps.
Yeah, and it's so much quieter.
So much quieter. Again, you use headphones as you would do with the electronic kit. And in an ideal world, you'd have one of each. So you'd have an acoustic kit and some form of electronic kit.